Right, okay. I think that works. Right, okay. Oh, Slisland time. Okay, so for this, shall I get like... Okay. Lovely, gotta love the, right, where is it? Microsoft Whiteboard. I, I've got to install Microsoft Whiteboard, great. You know what, no, never mind, we can do paint. Wrong paint. Wrong paint. Yeah, right, you ready for this stream? You ready? You ready? Some Slisland. There are islands, right? You ready for that? Islands. Crazy. And there's also slimes. That's okay. Brush. There are also slimes. Slime, yeah, that's a slime. Good. It needs like black eyes. Right. Dot. There's slimes. And at the moment, they can't build anything on these islands. Like, I want to build like a nice pretty house, but they can't build any like nice pretty houses. Yeah, you ready? So that's what I want to work on this stream, being able to build structures on an island. That makes sense? Just gotta like zoom in so you understand the thought process behind today's stream. That makes sense. That's look, there's a slime. There's even got like highlights. It's a slime. Okay, cool. That sums that up. Don't save. I think from that note, yeah, I think that's basically all you need to know. So let's open up Sprite, which I've already got open because I'm so prepared. And I need to open up Island Sector 1. I'll just agree. Okay. This is the area we get for a structure. It is, where is it? How big is it? 52 by 40, because that's the center area of an island. However, we can go a bit up. We can go a bit up, but the main structures can't go below it, and it can't really go to the side, but we could probably do a little bit of we could probably do 56 by 56. Sorry, 52 by 52. That's the size for. So let's just fill that up with let's just fill that up like that, I guess. That'll do. And that's our base. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save that as a sprite. I'm going to do structure. Okay, let's just new layer. Let's lower the opacity of that. And the first structure I want to make is a workbench type of thing. So I think for that, what is it? Let's just, come on, properties. Yeah, that'll do. 100. Let's just put it like 33. 30 will do. Cool. So I want to make a workbench type of thing. And to do that, I'm going to open up paint.net because I want to get a set of colors. I'm going to open up paint.net. I'm going to open, where is it? It will be in. Wait, I'll try and find it. It'll be on Unity. HUD. Right. Ocean Explorer. And I want to open this with. Open with paint.net. Cool. Okay, so because I want to get a color palette for this, because this is the crafting menu, so I want to get some sort of palette. So this will be our first color. Let's just input that, and then add that. Cool. And let's just delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete. Oh, okay. Okay, let's just leave it how it is. It's weird. A sprite confuses me with its color palette thing. Okay, let's just add a couple more. So I need that, and I want that. So let's just add that. So delete those. Can I delete that? Okay, I can. Can I delete that? I can't. Wait. But if I wait, I can fill layer 1 like that. Cool. So then I can delete that. Okay, cool. Let's just switch that, and then I'll also want that color as well. But for now, let's just add. Oh yeah, and then add that, and then I also want this color as well, which I will add here. Okay, cool. So there's the crafting bench colors that I need. Let's just move that over there. Move that over there. No, there we go. Cool. Okay, so for this crafting bench, I'm gonna need. I mean, it's gonna be pretty simple. It's just a little bench thingy. It's nothing crazy in the slightest. Just give me one moment. Okay, cool. Right, cool. Cool, I can then work on this. So, let's get, no, I don't want to do that. So I need to get I do actually need a black colour to be fair. So I want a workbench of sorts. I don't want it to look, oh no, I want it to look relatively square. So if I were to do something like that. want it to look a little bit wonky. Perhaps it's only got 2 feet onto the ground. Well, no, sorry, of course it will have 2 feet onto the ground, but perhaps the feet aren't quite lined up. A bit like that. Everything in this game has a white outline, so I'll need to change that to reflect that. But I think, right, so let's just... I do not know why this is... Okay, wait. Has that got no opacity? I should have opacity. Why is that not? Let's just add a new colour. Copy. Add new colour. Let's just paste that. Paste. Okay, cool. I don't know why that's not doing what it is doing, but it's fine. Anyway, okay, let's just close that. That's really weird that that's like that. Let's delete that. Let's not have that. For some reason it insists that this is a transparent one, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why that needs to be transparent. Why does that need to be transparent? Because it would just move to the next. Okay, let's just turn that into like a yellow colour. And then, yeah, okay, cool, that works. Okay, so how am I gonna do this? Okay, the legs of this need to be a little bit thicker. I could probably do with some. Okay. Wait, let's just, what if I were to do a little bit of that? That looks like a workbench of some description. If I check the original, what was it? Check this. It needs to be a bit more, needs to have 2 bits of paper. I might make it look a bit more detailed because I don't need it to be as, like, undetailed, if that makes sense. There's a bit of paper. And then if I have a big bit of paper here. Basically, this is the crafting menu. And then this is the little item slot thing here. That kind of works. I don't think it needs to be much more complicated than that. Like as a first structure. The issue is the white. I don't know. I'm going to have a quick look on the game, but I don't know if this white outline will work as a structure. Or if it will need to be changed. Let's have a quick look. So if I go to game, if I press play. I just like, will the white outline fit with the game? I hope it will. That's the issue, is I'm not 100% sure it will. But for now, let's just leave it. I'm gonna get rid of some of the white edges here, because it doesn't all need to be. Okay, that works. That works. That works. That works. I think I just need a new layer, and I need to have a bit of like a screen layer, properties. If I do screen, and do a little bit, what was it? Bluey colour? Not sure how I feel about that. That works actually. Not sure. Don't know if I need a screen colour. Problem is, like, that looks fine, and that does its job. It shows that it's a workbench. I don't know if I need anything more complex than that, but let's just add a little bit of like texture. Because it is wood after all. So let's just do a little bit of that. Okay, wait, let's get rid of this bit noise over here in replacement for a bit more of a straight pattern. That gives the impression of some sort of wood texture, so I think I could probably, let's change this to a multiply layer, and then let's add a little bit extra shading. I think with the perspective, I don't need to add the other leg, because the other leg would be here. So I think that works. I just might wanna properties lower the opacity a bit more. But like that works. That works the crafting bench. I just need to add the shadow now. So if I do a new layer and add the shadow, which I will do like this. Just gonna need to pull that up a bit. Then properties. Let's do it about, what, 50 might be a bit much. Let's try 30. If I get rid of that, that's a workbench, right? That's a workbench. That'll do it. That'll work. So if I just save that. Wait, first of all, I'll just save. Then I'll save it as workbench. Or is it PNG? Yeah, that works. No, I don't think I've got any changes to really save. Okay, cool. So if I add the wait, I'm gonna add the sprites. Then if I add, what was it? Assets, it would be, I think I just saved it here, didn't I? It's already in here. Yeah, saved here. 50, it should be, so what's the size? Because it's the size of these islands. Cancel. Island for discard. 16, so therefore this should also be 16. Same with this. Save. And this should be single, point no filter, and none. What about these? I'll do the same for these as well. This is just a little animation. This is, so I was working on the island selector, like the look of the island selector earlier, ready for this. 16, single, point of filter, none. And then with this, I should get the size I want. Okay, so let's add okay, let's add a prefab. Let's add a base island to the view. Let's just zoom into the player real quick. Prefabs, let's add a base island. And let's see what is it? Sprites. What does the... No, that doesn't work. What does sprites workbench look like on something like that? I don't know what's gone up with the opacity. But like all in all that works. It looks like a workbench and you can tell that it's the same menu I think as the actual workbench menu. But what is up with that opacity? Why is there no opacity? That is weird. Alpha source. Different sprite editor. Why is there no opacity? That is weird. Let's just launch a sprite. Right, so you didn't save okay, wait, so if I select as that, Control X, and then I just, what was it, if I just lower the opacity to like 97, let's just try that. Then if I were to do this, theoretically, I don't, because PNG, supports transparent pixels, so that's weird that this wasn't working. Save. Yeah, now if I try it, that works. So let's open that onto. Wait, let's open a sprite. Workbench.png. That is weird that wasn't working. And then because of that, I'll have to open. I'll have to open all this because this also didn't work, which was weird. So let's try and rework that. So if I do that, oh, how am I going to do this? I think if I do an eraser, but do an eraser, but new layer, properties. If there's an erase layer, then I can do this, except I don't think there is. I don't think there's an erase layer. Unless exclusion is the right one. No, that is not it. Delete. So if I'm gonna have to work out how to. That's really annoying. That's how a sprite works. Okay, well, what I can do is I can just Control X this, and then new layer, Control V, and then if I just do that for all of this, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. Oh, this is going to be an issue, but it's fine, we can fix it. So what I can do is I can just do a little bit of fill, and hopefully with that that is not right. Right, okay, let's just redo this. I think maybe I've already done it. I might have already done it. Okay, so if we do a new layer, properties, set this to 30%, and then just keep that as fine, then what I can do is I can just do all of this again. I love issues that arise like this that weren't even meant to be here. Okay, what is going on here? Did the entire thing get shifted for no reason? Like, huh? How did that even happen? Anyway, let's quickly work around that. There we go. Right, now, so if I do merge down, which, oh, right, okay, I see. Okay, wait, in that case, what I'll do is I will open all of those up in paint.net. Action Explorer. Open with paint.net. Okay, so let's open up all of them. Let's open up, what is it? So we've got 2, so we need 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's open with paint.net. Could I just drag and drop them? Open. Yeah, cool, that works. So what I can do is I can go through each image. Okay, yep, that works. So what I'll do is I'll Control X and add them on top for each image, because that is probably the bit that is what I can think about doing here. So if I do that for each image, then hopefully I can lower the opacity to something reasonable. And then with that, so if I do opacity, let's set it at 30% of 255 is 76.5, so let's do 76. 76 might be a little too, let's try 100. Let's try 100 for all of these, and then if I save them, it should just work. This is a very simple animation, it's nothing crazy, it's just for structures, to highlight structures in the game. So just Control S, okay, and then I just do the same for this. Control S, okay. Cool, so that should all work. If I go into Unity, yeah, all of these have been updated. If I open the workbench shown Explorer, if I open this in open with paint.net, if I do the same thing here, so if I add another layer and put it below it and just move it across one, if I then set this to, I think 76, not as, and then I flatten that, okay, no, right, that's the issue we have, similar issue. Let's, yeah, flatten, okay. That works. Oh wait, actually that's not in line with the shadow of that. I need to check what this shadow is. It is at 130. Okay, so 130 is the standard shadow. I did not know that was the standard shadow opacity in my game. The standard shadow, the SSO. Right, workbench, yes, and flatten. Cool, perfect. So that should be our perfect. Look at that, cool. So in the scene of the game, it looks like that. That works very well as a workbench. The issue I have is I don't know if I want the white outline unless you're near it. But I'm not sure what I want to do, because let's see how it looks like without the white outline. So let's open that with paint.net again. Let's just do, if I do all the colours, hopefully, flood mode, that. Cool. Let's try tolerance of 0. So if I tried this out, and I just got to quickly do some more of this. How would this look? Because there's a chance that this will look very dumb, and I'll need the white outline. But then I've got to figure out what I'm going to do for when the player selects what they're trying to do. Oh, I just realised that messed up the shading as well here with what happened on Sprite. But anyway, let's just do workbench, no outline. Save that, and then if I go on to Unity and just workbench no outline, so let's just 16, then put point no filter, none. Let's just do workbench, change that to, how does this look? It doesn't look bad, and to be fair, I can see that actually looking good for more, like, for better looking structures later on. So I think having that's a good idea, actually. And I know exactly what I'm going to do, because, wait, this will work very well, actually. Okay, so everything around this game will have a white outline. I was going to do a shader, but I've decided against it. And it will work in my favour with structures that go outside of here. Because at the moment, that looks very dumb. Also, this needs to always be on top, so let's have it too. So this looks very dumb. If I add the white outline, where is it? To the workbench, looks also kind of dumb. But if so let's just put that back, but let's have it a sorting order of 1, just so it's above everything else. Okay, that also looks dumb. The shadow I'll have to work out separately as well. But so yeah, the shadow I'll have to do separately. So if I separate everything in paint.net, don't save. Yeah, okay, if I separate everything in paint.net, so let's just do that. Let's just fill in the gaps here. Just fill in the gaps here. So that's the shadow, that's the workbench, which I'm going to quickly edit its shading on. Oh, that's going to be a nightmare. And then if I just do this, then I do a multiply. Let's put it at 60. 58 will do. And then I just, okay, no, that's way too low. Let's do it at 130, why not? That seems to be the go-to opacity for certain stuff. If I do something like that, and then that. Okay, if I do that, then, and merge that down, so that works. And then all I've got to do is, okay, yeah, I know what I've got to do. So, let's save this as workbench, bench.png, and replace the other one. Let's undo that. Let's save this as workbench underscore shadow. And then let's undo that and add a white outline. Let's duplicate that, turn off that, oh yeah, this I'll have to, yep, cool. And then if I do, so that you won't see any difference there, but if I just add a white outline all around, which I'll do pencil, and then just do a little like outline. Okay, and then if I turn that off and turn that off and save that as workbench underscore outline, then I can do a similar thing I've done to the tree, have them all on separate sorting layers, and when you are in range of the workbench or the structure, the white outline will go to the top. For now though, I'm not going to worry about all that stuff. I'm just going to create a new prefab, so I'm going to create an empty object, and I'm going to call it structure. I'm going to drag it up here into there so it becomes a prefab. I'm going to open up the prefab, and then in this prefab, I'm going to add the, let's say, the base. I'm going to add the shadow, and I'm going to add the outline. And in these, they're going to have the sprite renderer. And in this, once I get to it, we'll have a scriptable object, which will be basically its data, so I can have multiple different structures. It will probably have stuff like its cost and the script it uses when you go near it, as in when you interact with the structure. As obviously all structures will do something different. Okay, so let's just go on with that. So base for the first thing. Oh wait, yeah, I'll have to workbench. I'll have to do workbench. I'll have to go and add these to the. And then where's the outline? There we go. Basically, what I'll do is I'll have this as so. I'll have the workbench as the base sprite. This can go. Let's have that one. It can go. The workbench can go above other things. So let's have that two. Sorry. For the shadow, that will go at 0 since that's the base thing. Workbench shadow. Let's put that at 0, 0. The base at 0, 0. The structure, which I can't change at the moment, and the outline. Wait, hold on. 1. No, that's 1. Let me just quickly. Can this, if I move that, does it go over the shadow? Yes, it does. So the shadow of that. The shadow needs to go under because it's at the same sort order as 1. So if I go to the structure, let's have the shadow at a higher number as 2. Let's have that as 3. And the outline, however, can go at 0. So if I add the outline, put that at 0, 0. And at the moment you can't see it, but the plan is if you went in range of it, you'd then see it. Shadow needs to be... Okay, you'd then see it, so we'd have it like what? Hold on, shadow needs to be at 1. These need to be at something else other than these need to be like 0. Let's go, these need to be at 0. Base island. Because the land... right. Okay, this thing, what's this thing at 0? That should be at -1. These should be at 0. Unless I have everything start 1, in which case these are fine at 1, and then need to work out the structure, because the structure will be at 3, the shadow will be at 1, and the outline will be at 2, which no, works. That will also mean it will be in front of the player at all times, but however, which won't work. Okay, let's have it all at, let's have it at 1. Let's have that at 1. Then we've got a sorting order problem. The shadow should probably be at 0. Then that doesn't work either. How am I going to do this? because we don't want the shadow to be above that, but we want the sorting order to all work properly. Let me add what layer is the player at? The player is at layer 2. Okay, we can work with that. So if we have the base at 2, the outline at 2, and the shadow at 1, then that does work, and I believe will also... That island is not going to stay intact, and it's going to be really bugged out, isn't it? Because that island is technically there. Oh, it's... We can build... No, we can't build to it. Interesting that the structure looks that way. Base, out, shadow, outline. Right, oh, sorry, the outline should be at... Let's try this. I guess when you're in range, I could increase all of it. Or I could do a hitbox, so that... how am I going to do... No, that won't work either. How am I going to do this white outline? Because the outline's going to get in the way. Not for now, let's just leave it, because the outline should be at 0 anyway. The outline will only be there when it needs to be, and the shadow should be... Wait, I could probably put this... Let's put that at 2, and then the base at 3. Because, yeah, the shadow should probably be on... You should cast the shadow underneath it, no matter what. Anyway, that is our structure. If I put that as prefabs, so where's our structure? So that should go into prefabs. And let's create a programmable object. So I'm just going to do structure. And then we need to create the script for it. Let me just quickly... Okay, let's just... Okay, so if I create another script, paper script, and then I'm going to call it structure object. In the structure object, I'm just going to also go grab the item object script. Right, items, no, that's the item script. Item object script and structure script. Okay, so let's copy and paste this all in here, but obviously it's not. New structure, new structure type, and then I want structure object. Okay, so structure name, might as well get the basic stuff done. Structure sprite, and then structure ID. But I'll also want some other stuff as well, because we will want costs, and to get costs I will use the same thing I've done on the island object, because these will be the costs to build the structures. So if I do these, item cost and count cost, add those to the structures, and then I will need to structure sprite. I don't think I could probably find shadow, and I could probably find shadow and outline, use that, but for now that's fine. That's fine, that'll do. Because I could edit it in a prefab, more or less. That would be cool if everything's here. And then I need a structure script. So how am I gonna do this? Because I can't do public script, that isn't a thing. But if I create a type of script, overarching, like basically if I create a script that I could then override, I should know what these are, but I can't remember what they're called. Let's work on that. How I'm imagining it, structures are only placed one per island. Let's get rid of the base island, and let's get rid of the structure. And you know what? For now, let's just leave that. What I need to work on is this, like, cursor, I guess you could say. So, how am I going to do this? Let's go on to scripts. Find object, inventory, script. Inventory, script, what's this one? Inventory UI, grid generator. Yeah, that's just the generator for the grid. Change island. I think this is what I'll need because this uses the mouse ray. Okay. Let's create a new script. And this will be a structure. What should I call it? Structure build script. The structure build script. I'm gonna need I'm gonna need the camera. Wait, what's it? Yeah, I'm gonna need. Oh wait, hold on. What's going up here? Right, camera.mate. Yes, I'll just get these because I'll need those in the update. And I don't need that. So, however, I need to do it void update, but I need to do it while I'll need a build mode. Boolean public build mode. And I'm gonna have a public void switch mode. And I could probably do a switch statement, which I know I did in some other thing, but I don't know where I did the switch statement. But I imagine I did a switch statement somewhere. If I just have to find the switch statement. Could be build rotator. Where is the switch statement? Was this the switch? That's not a switch statement. Unscript, task script, could have been task script structure. Okay, I can't find it, so I will just basically create structure build script. Okay, let's just do this. So if build mode, what's it? I need to do build mode is equal to not build mode. So whatever it was before, it's no longer. And that and I'll do that under the player script. I'll have all the player controls under one script. It just makes sense to me. And I can call that because I can just get a reference to it. Okay, so if I know I'm using the old input system, I want to get this game working before I switch to the new one because I'm used to this and I can switch. So E. That's why I couldn't use E to open, because I was going to use E to use items, but E is to collect items. E to use structures, but E is to collect items. I mean, E makes more sense. I think F works for picking up stuff. However, F might also be used for, I believe, cycling through, because we did it. Where is it? It'll be in the... It's like the build cycler. Build rotator. I believe it's probably R and F, yeah. What I might do is I might do up mouse wheel, which I'll quickly search up. Mouse wheel up Unity keycode. If that's a keycode. Keycode.wheel up. Yes. Keycode.wheel up. And then wheel down. To me that makes sense to do. Wheel down. That makes sense to do to me. And then because of that I can do other stuff. Right, okay, here we are. Keycode get key down keycode E, and I can get the structure build script. Public structure build script build script, no, struct script. Struct script dot, and what did I call it? Switch mode. I could just call that. And I don't need a cooldown for that, really. It should be good. So now if I just hover, basically I need to hover, what am I doing? I need to hover the, why is my brain blanking so much? I need to hover the mouse over the island. When it's hovering over an island, I will show the grid, I'll show the tile, the selector, like the cursor over the island. So to do that, I am going to what's it? I'm going to take this and what's it? I'm going to while build mode in object island mouse rate, yeah, ray hit 2D physics, yep, island layer, which I will need to get an island layer for. Structure build. Yeah, let's do that. Island layer. Mouse ray dot direction 10. Yeah, that should all work. Input to mouse position. Okay, yeah, that should work. And then if right, if how do I do this? If island's not none. Oh wait, let's get a reference for the cursor first. So public game object cursor, struct cursor. This is okay, so struct cursor. I then want to using ray hit dot collide game object, perfect. So cursor dot position transform dot position is equal to island dot transform dot position. This probably won't work that well, but hopefully that should work well enough. Oh wait, and I'll need to do while build mode. Let's say struct cursor dot set active true, and then if I do that but false, and I'll do it here. Actually, what I'll do is if build mode, do that, else do that, and then with this, hopefully it won't give me any errors, but it might be like, okay, I haven't got any errors. Yes, I have. Cursor. Yep, struct cursor. Okay, so let's see what happens to that with that. So let's create the game object. Create empty. Structure cursor. Let's add component. Let's add a sprite renderer. That's all it really needs, and an animate. So let's do sprites, animation, and then I could just add that iron selector. So if I do assets, sprites, let's just put that there. Okay, let's have yep, I need to set object reference. My bad. And I'll need to Where did I put the structure? Where did... Ah, yep, okay. So let's do the structure cursor. Oh, wait, what I'll do is I'll do dot sprite renderer. Dot sprite renderer dot... What was it? Sprite renderer copy property path dot enabled is equal to, let's try that. Don't know if that'll work. Let's see. Console. It's not contained definition for sprite renderer. Let's copy property path. Why can't I copy property path? Properties dot sprite renderer dot enabled equals true. Wait. Game object dot sprite renderer unity. Sprite renderer. It should just be able to, yeah. Wait, game object. Game object not contained definition for sprite renderer. It should do. Oh, dot. I'm an idiot. Dot get component. Sprite renderer. There we go. That's why it wasn't working. Object, yeah, okay, object reference, cool. So that should then, if I just copy and paste that there, but set it to false, that means it'll still technically be on the scene. I can use it, it just won't show up, which is probably for the best. So now I can add the structure, what is it, structure build script. I can do itself as the cursor. I can have that turned off. I can have that like 5. And then I can then, what's it, player. Struct script could be that. And then theoretically that should work. Hopefully. Object reference not set. Where is it? Let's have a look. Object reference not set. Island layer. Land. I'll have to do this as like a multiple parter. Now what? Object reference not set. Let's just... Oh, I think Unity's crashed. Of course it has. Of course it has. Now's... Welp. That's gone brilliantly. Sorry, I just saw the chat message. Wait, how long ago was that? I feel bad for missing chat. Hello, if you can see this, how are you? I feel bad for missing chat. I'm alright. Hello. I can't see this. I need to make, hold on. Let me make chat bigger. Let me make chat bigger. Have it like there. Hello. And remember, if you want to set the, let me know what color I should put the slime as, because I will change. Okay, yep, Unity is finally just given up. I might have to Alt F4 it, which sucks, because hopefully I won't use close window, because I don't want to lose work. Oh, I'm gonna have to Alt F4 Unity. I'm sorry. Okay, that isn't even working. Let's open up Task Manager just quickly. End Unity. Where is he? Unity is just non-existent right now. Unity crashing. Let's just end Unity. I can't even find it. There we go. Unity editor, end task. Oh boy, that was not fun to do. No, I don't want to open up the... No. I don't want to open up that project. No. No. Close. Close. Please. Close. Close. Right, okay. Let's just open up Slisland 2D. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's really annoying that that crashed. Right, Unity. Oh, this is not fun. Right, okay, so what has happened? Okay, so it's at least done that. Structure cursor, player, what's... Okay, so I don't know why, because last time it said that reference not set to reference and whatever, which isn't good. And I want to know what console. So if I click E, oh my word, have I just made... Okay, so whatever my script does, it crashes Unity. What did I do here? I gotta end Unity again. It's not really what I wanted to do. But that's also really funny. Okay, let's end that. Let's open up that again. That is wild and odd. Is it easy to fix code errors or shade errors? I hate shaders with a burning passion. Okay, no. A coral slime would be cool. Okay, coral slime. Okay, I don't use shaders. I've tried. Shaders work on the... I want to say shader errors, from the small times I have used them, are much harder to fix because they don't just tell you what's wrong. Shader errors are pretty like, oh yeah, it's not working. Figure it out yourself. Right. Okay, coral coloured slime. Let's do it. Where is it? Player. The slime for this. Where is it? There we go. Okay, for this one, it can be like a corally red colour, like that. Like that. Is that good? I think that works right. That's kind of a corally colour. Let me just do a little more pastel. Oh, there we go. There we go. I think that's a bit more. Let's do that. Cool. Coral slime. Okay, so. Also, I know the game looks empty. I just want to promise, because I don't know who was here for the last stream. The game is not empty. It's just the world is generated via code. So, I pressed E again. I pressed E again, guys. I didn't learn my lesson. We're gonna have to kill Unity again. At the moment, how satisfied are you with Unity Engine? At the moment, not looking very high right now. Let's redo that one. Slisland 2D. Okay. Oh, yep. Wait, did you just say the old... Wait. The old version just had shade errors when decompiling and recompiling the game or opening it in Unity. Oh, lovely. That's funny. Okay. Oh, my days. Right. Don't press E. I need to figure out what is going on when I press E, because whatever's going on is not good. Okay, right. So when keycode E pressed, it crashes the game. Why? Why does it crash the game? Oh, is it because of the amount of rays void update? The issue is, how am I meant to fix that? Right, let's just... If... Right, so if... Why does that not work? Is it because of this? Let's just comment out that and hope it doesn't crash again when I press E. Because if it's that, that's going to be a nightmare to fix. But I'll try. Right, press play. Let's... Okay, press E. It crashed! Okay. What is going on? Do I have to... I gotta kill Unity again. What is going on? Quite like that right at the moment. Let's just close that. I'm not... Okay. Oh my word. Guys, Unity bug, it crashes when you press the letter E. Was the F in some of your code in the original do? Is it a variable thingy of C#? Wait, F in some of your code in the original... Wait. I'm trying to think. I haven't opened the original game in so long, I cannot even... I'm going to be honest, I can barely remember what I actually... What does F do in that? Isn't that... Was that to open the inventory? Like the hotbar? What's the F in some of your code in the original do? Like health -2F. Oh, no, that's float. That's stands for float. It's yeah, so at the end of C#, if you want to have a float, you've got to put F. Otherwise it would just treat it as an integer. Okay, I think you can get away with... So you can get away with having, like, let's say we've got a float here. You can get away with, I believe, with minusing an integer. But obviously you could not get away with minusing a float. But what was it? Let's say I create a variable. If I create a variable, I don't know how to describe. I believe, basically, if I put an F, it detects it's a float. Simple as that. So, like, let's say F. So that means it's technically 2.0, or yeah, instead of it just being 2. So if you put an F at the end, I believe a lot of things don't like it if you don't minus. If you mix floats and integers, it won't like it. So for example, if I have a float, let's say call it float 1, I'll almost always minus it by a float. That's all it is. It just stands for float. And float is like a decimal number. So if I've got a float, it's just a point whatever. It's a decimal number. Whereas an integer or int is just a whole number. That's not an integer. This is not an integer. I pointed at the screen as if you could see where my finger was. Okay, let's hope Unity doesn't crash this time when I press the letter E. Okay, I need to figure out why it's crashing when I press the letter E. I don't understand why pressing the letter E causes such issues. Like, all I'm doing is going to this and switching... Is this something to do with this? Why does pressing the letter E cause it to crash? I'm just going to check I've got everything in the right place, like the player is... I'm just going to check, so, where is it? Player move, yes, so it's accessing the structure script, which is here, which should have no issues. So if I click play, why are you crashing when I press the letter E? I'm going to cry if it crashes again. Let's move. So if I press F to pick up the items, and then, oh, mouse wheel, I need to work on that, because I need to work on that, because that's for the camera. That was kind of also just for testing purposes. Oh yeah, also you can flip the camera. Anyway, I need to figure out what to do here with this. Because at the moment, is it to do with the mouse? Right, so mouse wheel up isn't working. annoyingly, which is on build rotator. Keycode wheel down, keycode wheel up. Annoyingly not working. So let's just change that to what keys? I tend to do like Z and X when I'm like I think Z and X were the original on the original game was rotating builds. Right. Let's see. Does pressing the letter E crash the game? Is there any difference in float or double at a practical level? Not really. Yes, obviously, if you're doing way more complicated stuff and it crash Unity, there'd be difference. But you don't need to use. Most scenarios, you wouldn't really need to use doubles. It'd just be better. I'm gonna restart Unity Editor. It'd just be better to what? It'd be better to just use floats. You don't need to use doubles. I don't think. I wouldn't. I'm trying. The only thing I could think of is if you're doing like very much. If you making a game, no. Simply put, if you're making a game, I'd imagine doubles would be pretty impractical and just unneeded. However, if you are I don't know, developing a language learning model as a guess. This is a guess. I've never done this as a guess. Or if you were developing, you needed like complex math algorithm. Doubles would probably you'd need them because you'd want it to be precise. But for games, the float's fine. I don't see any reason to use anything other than a float. I think at that point it'd be fine. And yeah, Unity is great. Can I just say, guys, Unity, what a thing. So good at just crashing when I press. Is it like also okay? So it's when the game plays. So it's not in the. It's when the game plays because I'm pressing E now and it's doing nothing. Let's see. When the game plays, what happens? I pressed E again. Something is really going wrong with pressing the letter E. I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna change the keybind from E because why is E crashing Unity so much? This is just hold on a minute. Wait, hold on. I'm just gonna quickly change something. Let me just quickly. I'm still here. I'm just changing something. Where is that? No, that's right. Defects. Let's just do a bit more. There we go. Okay. Hopefully now let's just quickly. What was it? Okay, there we go. Much better. I'm just moving a bit more so you can see that I'm talking. If you couldn't hear me for whatever reason. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's change it from E to F. No, not to F. Let's try L. Something I'm not using for anything else. And then we can know if calling struct script.switch mode crashes Unity. I want to like Godot for reasons like this. I want to like Godot for... Let's press the letter L. Okay. That crashes Unity. Good to know. Why is that? I was expecting to be a bit more productive on this this stream, but clearly crash you. I don't even know like what to say. Why is that crashing Unity? I'm gonna be honest, the coral slime, nice suggestion, but I don't think it's gonna see much use. Cause it's just okay. Let's hope this works. Let's go into there. Let's set it back to E, same as before, but just switch. Right, so something's going wrong with this. Apparently this does not... Is it the wild build mode? But why would that be an issue? Why would that be an instruct script? It's calling this. What? Why is there? Why does that crash Unity? For what reason would that crash Unity? So let's just go about our little slime day. Let's build an island. Let's press E. Okay. Okay. Right. We're getting somewhere. Didn't crash this time. Let's do that. I'm surprised a while loop will crash a Unity though. That seems... Oh, is it because... It's because I'm doing a... I wasn't very smart. I've realised exactly what I've done wrong. I've put a while loop inside of an update loop. So every single frame, it's trying to do something infinitely. Which, funnily enough, doing an infinite thing in 1/60th of a second doesn't quite work. And that's where the issue was. So let's just get rid of that, change that to an if statement. If build mode instead of while build mode. I basically plugged you know like those memes where you take an extension cord and you plug the socket into itself? That's basically what I did, and was wondering why my phone wasn't charging. Right, okay. That was not it's not the smartest moment for me right there. But it's fine, it should be fixed at least. And theoretically it should work, so I should have no issues, but that's why, yeah. Okay, so if I press the letter E, guys, it didn't crash. It didn't crash. But now I've got a CS24. 24 is Game Magic Island. Rayhit2d.collider.game object. Why are you not working? Why are you not working? Anyway, let's just... If I... Okay, so if I press E, theoretically structure cursor should be here. Oh, missing sprite, that's not good. It shouldn't have a missing sprite, let's just have that. Okay, for some reason it doesn't like the missing oh wait, hold on. Project, animation, if I go to the animations, structure cursor, animator, unselector anim, unselector anim. Why are you not working? Right, okay, let's just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, I know what I should do. I know what I need to do. A lot of this is just me being gobsmacked by the tiniest of things and just trying to, like, rack my brain as to why it isn't working when it's the most obvious solution. Right, there we go. Okay, animations, let's just call it, cursor anim. That'll work. Cool. So now if I go and get rid of, if I go and get rid of that, go to animations, add that, then island. Okay, theoretically this should work. Theoretically. Okay, so guys, look at this. That's what I wanted. Just except it won't go on actual. So let's just pick up some. So I'm gonna bug test this a sec. Okay, so it doesn't So it doesn't like going on. Ironically, it does the one thing I don't want it to do. It doesn't like going on actual islands and water when it should do the other way around. So let's try that again. Okay, that should be that shouldn't be too much of a bad fix. So if I go on to prefabs, island object, if I go to the base island, funnily enough, doing everything on a grid is great because it means everything's really ordered. What I'm going to do is I need to add a section to the island, which I'm going to add a container to the island which will hold the structure. And basically that will mean that I can have everything in the island. Didn't make much sense. Anyway, so the land. So why? Because if I go to the tile, that's not empty island. Do you have any game object layer land? Oh, I know why. Because it's land. Right. Okay, that doesn't. I see why. Because that needs to be a layer land. And that shouldn't be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create. Right, so. Because this is empty island, but this is a tile. Empty island, let's do default. Yes, change children. Empty island. Empty island layer default. This is what, right, so this is what should be there. Let's try this again and hope this works because there's a slim chance that, because of what I've done, it messes up the entire game. But let's hope not. Okay, so far so good. So let's just get rid of that. Okay, let's press E. And structure cursor, land. So what I need to do now is base island. I need to then change this to land. But how did I do it before? Because it was on that. It wasn't on the. Oh, because right. I see why. Because I see why. I see why. So I need to go to this. I need to set this as land. No, the subject only, and that should work, hopefully. So then, in theory, if I press E, does not work. Why do not work? I'm gonna have to find the. I'm gonna have to find the island that I need. So if I do that and then do that, you are on layer land. Okay. Why aren't you working? Okay, I can't get now. It's just not working at all, which is the opposite of what I want. What I might do is, so why were you working before is the thing, structure cursor. Also this should be, yes, it's always the highest layer. So if I, okay. Is it because, so if I go to tile, change this to land. No, the subject only. Let's try this, see what happens now. Okay, so, yeah, okay, so it basically, so why do you not work on anything else? Why do you work only on this and nothing else? Because you're not land, you should not be classified as land. Right, so if I go base island, because this is the so the base island is the prefab. Oh, it's because you don't have a because it has to be on things that have a collider. This has no collider, whereas empty. This has a collider. simply put, this has a collider. So all I need to do to fix this is on base island, and I'm going to do it because base island's part of the tile. So if I just paste component as new, but set it to its trigger, so it doesn't actually have any sort of, or I could include layers, I could exclude layers, everything, and then try that. This may also cause issues with the player collision, but it'll be fine. Okay, so it's not. So if I press E, that works. I can only select. Oh my word, that does work. So I'm selecting this to build on. So let's build another island, and then theoretically, I should be able to switch between the two. And if all goes to plan, I should be able to eventually place a structure there. I think the little cursor animation is good. Okay, the issue is I'm going to change that. I'm going to actually put the... No, so I did put it here. The base island, the collider. Oh, wait, no, that's not good. I need it to be... I need the collider to be as big as everything else. And sprite, that's width, that's not 4, I believe. Yes, it's 4, and then is it 5 by 5? It's 4.5? Is it 4.7? I can't remember. There's the exact... Wait, I can get the exact values. Hold on. I can get the exact values from Island Manager because X spacing 4.625. It's a really specific number, but that's the size of the island. So if I do that, then it's basically, so copy component, and then I can add that to the clear island. So let's do paste component as new. And then I can even do it on the rock island too. Paste component as new. So I'm just going to build for a bit. I'm going to build a bunch of islands and see what happens. Random thing I found the fountains nice. I'm going to see what happens now if I just build for a bit. Build a bit of this, and then I should just be able to like gain a few resources. And then I'll build a rock island. So if I build that, cool. Yeah, so it's already working. So now I can theoretically build a structure on any one of these. The only issue is the object reference not set to that error I keep getting, which I'm gonna have to change because I can't just leave an error like that. I don't know what issue is I don't know what it's like not setting as a reference, because that works. This works. If it didn't work, it just would kind of do nothing, but it works. So like, what are you like not liking? Structure build script at line 24. Yeah, which is this. So something about this line it does not like, and I don't know why. Something about that line it does not like, and I don't know why. This is the issue with coding on stream is there's a lot long periods of just sitting there doing nothing because you can't do much else. Okay, wait, right, let me cook it. So we've got this. This works because it works. Well, it does simply. Or does it? QV source music. I genuinely don't know what here it's not liking. Is it the .game object? could be the .game object. Let's remove that. It won't work, but it may hopefully fix the bugs. Let's just... Okay, well that's working. Is it the ray hit 2D? But that... It's fine with that. It's fine with the ray hit 2D. What do I do? It works, it just doesn't work very well, is all. Okay. Oh, I know why. If I go on the water, I don't know if you can see this number. If I go on the water, it increases. Go on the land, it's increasing. Oh, it's because my mouse. Look, the number stopped. Go on the water, it started. Go on the land, it stopped. So it's something to do with the fact that I reckon it's because there is no collider. But I don't know if that works. Oh, wait. Hold on. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. If ray hit 2D is not none. Is none something in? Or is it null? It might... Right, so let's try this. I think none does work. Oh, Control X. And that should fix the error. Let me just check if none is a thing in Unity. How to check if a property is missing or not set? Null. It is null. Yeah, so if ray hit 2D is not equal to null, then hopefully I won't get that error, and hopefully that's all fixed. Also, can I just say, the cheese Ches 0145, cheese. I'm very curious. What are you using to look into the files of the game? Because I know there are files online, but I really want to know how you're like decomping my game. Okay, well now it's still having the issue. Now it's still having the issue. It's at 26. Okay, so maybe... Island light. Okay, wait. I wonder if it's in response. Okay, so I wonder if it's still picking up something. Like, even when I've got my mouse on something, it's still picking up something. And that's the issue. So let's go on to an empty tile. Let's see, what could it be picking up? The issue is theoretically it shouldn't be picking up anything. Is it because layer tile, yeah. It shouldn't be picking up anything. If ray hit 2D .collider.game object. The issue is it can only detect things without a collider, so I don't understand what's going on here. I've realised I have zero clue why it's throwing the errors. Funnily enough, the fact that I dropped a viewer because of I don't know what is going on. It says no assigned value, but it's not telling me why. And it's an error. It's not like a yellow warning. It's an error. And an error isn't something I could really go with. Like, I wouldn't want to... Huh. Is there anything more you could tell me? I don't think it will tell me anything more. I think it's just like, yeah, there's something there. I don't know what it is, but there's something there. Shame it couldn't tell me what it is. I don't think it's island. Let's just get rid of, let's comment out that. Collider 2D is equal to, let's see, does it have an issue with getting a collider? Because if we can check that. Because if it's getting it, then we know it's the collider. If not, it's either game object or it's, so if I click E, oh wait, no, I need to let Unity, right, let's redo that again. Okay, so if I click E, so it's not throwing an error, which is good. So it's to do with the game object or the ray hit 2D. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a I'm gonna do this. Raycast hit 2D island is equal to ray hit 2D. I don't think there should be an issue with this because all I'm doing is I'm storing a raycast into another raycast. So I think the only thing it could be is the game object. It's having an issue with game objects, which is weird. At object reference not. Okay, wait. So actually, its issue is the ray hit 2D part. Okay. It doesn't like the ray hit. But why? Oh! Hold on. I wonder if it's because... no, that doesn't work. I was thinking, I wonder if it's because it's always trying to find something with the ray hit. But if there's nothing there... if ray hit 2D is equal to null. Let's debug.log null ray. With that, let's see what happens there. Okay, E. Okay. So it's never. So now let's do if it's not null. It should theoretically just spam null ray now. Because according to what the error is suggesting, the ray, there's always something being caught in the ray, which there shouldn't be. So let's just click that. Null ray. Yep. For every time. Okay, so apparently there's always something in the ray, but even though there's always something in the ray which there shouldn't be, because there's also not a collider or game object, it doesn't know what to do. So if I go back to the player, if I... Where is it? Structure cuts, here we are. If I set this to land, island layer, if I set this to land, theoretically only things that are land should be seen. So if I go to these, all of those are not land, technically. Okay. Oh, I wonder if Ray hit 2D because it's an. I wonder if it's technically not. If right, if what I could do instead is if Ray hit 2D has component. Let's do has component. Has component unity. If there's like a has component thing. Has component. Right. Yeah, which okay does work. So if Ray hit 2D dot has component collider 2D, then we do this. And I still don't think this is going to work. For some reason, I feel like this is just going to cause an issue. But let's try it. Nope, okay, console. Raycast hit 2D does not. Oh, wait, dot. Oh, that won't work though. Dot has component collider. No, that doesn't work. Okay, wait, that doesn't work. So what am I going to do here? So far it's been a very unsatisfying ending to the stream, because we're going to have to end stream soon, and this is just not like a... I was kind of, hoping to, end this on a positive note. Oh, my phone just dropped. That was great. Apparently not. Apparently that's not going to happen, because this game hates me. Right. The amount of times I've looked at these, 3 lines of code here. I mean, I don't know why it's not collider.gameObject. Apparently it's just... This is a very bad result, but I'm gonna just reopen Unity. And hope that maybe at least you fixed the E thing. I did, to be fair. At least I fixed the E thing. And technically it works. It just works with errors. Which, I mean, isn't great, but it works. And I can't really complain at it because I'm just glad that it even works. Yeah, it just really, really does not like being out in the water console. And errors like these are not good errors. Also, I picked up... What happened to... Oh, I'm trapped in the void. Anyway. The issue is errors like these aren't good errors. What do I do? I could just include everything. Wait, if I include everything, let's just do this. Let's go to the empty tile. Let's what was it? Let's call this, let's say, water. No, the subject only. Let's do the same, and water, no, the subject only. Then let's go to structure cursor. Let's add water and land. And then theoretically we should have no issues. Because, and if we have issues, then I don't know. Because if I press E, yeah, we've got no issues because it's detecting everything. It's just using everything. But then if I do land, sorry, wait, then let's see. So it has the opposite issue now. So land, so it's whenever it goes over a layer, it doesn't like. It's not when it goes over something. So when it seems to go over a layer, it doesn't like. It causes it to bug out. Okay, you know what? I think I may have to do a little bit of fixing in my own time. Thank you guys for coming to stream, and thank you for watching, and I will see you next stream. I think